It's going to be great. We are going to finish up our toxic series. We've talked about living in a toxic world. We've talked about toxic thoughts. And tonight, if you're taking notes, and and I hope you do, the title of tonight's message is Toxic Relationships. Toxic relationships. Man, based on the response, I think I'm done here, right? We good? We all understand what I'm saying tonight? All right, here's what I want to do. If you wouldn't mind, everyone stand up to your feet real quick. I'm going to do a living poll with all of us. Stand up to your feet, stand up to your feet. Even if you don't like listening to me, stand up to your feet. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Appreciate it. Okay, we're going to play a little game called Sit Down If. It's not really a game, but, you know, whatever. Sit down if you know someone, you have a friend that used to serve the Lord Jesus Christ, used to follow Jesus Christ, but no longer does, okay? Wait, no, sorry. I messed that up. Stand up. I messed that up. Stay standing if you have a friend that used to love Jesus, but no longer is following Jesus. Stay standing if you used to know someone who followed Jesus that is no longer following Jesus. Stay standing if. So in other words, if that does not apply to you, go ahead and sit down. All right? There's a lot of confusion. That's my apologies. Okay? So, question number 2. Stay standing if the reason that person is no longer serving Jesus is because of a relationship. Be romantic, friendship, whatever. It was because of someone else. Stay standing if. So in other words, sit down if it was a different reason that they fell away from God. But if it had to do with another person, stay standing. All right? Just look around. These are the results, okay? The vast majority, you guys can go ahead and be seated. Thank you so much. You've been a great sort of poll. All right, here's the deal. In the 19 years that I've been following Jesus myself, this is the number 1 most, number 2 most, number 3 most, number 4 most, number 5 most, number 6 most. It probably top 25 most common reasons that people fall away from Jesus. If you've ever had hey, what happened to so-and-so? They used to come to the Capitol. Oh, well, they started dating someone. Oh, well, someone got in their head. Oh, well, they fell into this crowd, right? Like it almost always someone fell away from serving God a passion-filled life because of someone who was not following Jesus. It is by far the most common thing that wrecks people's relationship with God. And so we're going to talk about that tonight. We're going to dive into what it looks like to have some toxic relationships and what we can do about it in this place. And so, again, if you're jumping in tonight, man, what a cool night to be here. All right, 4 things that I want you guys to write down and take notes on. First thing is this. You need to vet your friends. Vet your friends. Vet your friends. I thought that too. Question was, I thought the vet is where you take your pets. Yes, it is. It is also what you do to heavily investigate something, okay? And so you need to vet your friends. In other words, you need to investigate your friendships. You need to evaluate your friendships. You need to take a second look at your friendships. You need to take a third and fourth and fifth look at your friendships. You need to think about who your friends are. You need to be cognitively aware of the people you choose to surround yourself with on a day-to-day basis, in light of the fact that the top 25 most common reasons for someone to walk away from Jesus is because of the people they surround themselves with, all right? I'm going to give you, actually, I'm going to have us read a chunk of Scripture again today because you guys did so good with that last week. Is that okay? Can I ask you guys to stand up one more time with me? Is that okay? Again, this is... The reason why I'm doing this, in case you don't know, is that there is power in God's Word. I can try to persuade you all day long, but God's Word is living and active. It is powerful. It is the only thing that can really make a difference in our lives. God moves through His Word. He doesn't honor my words. He honors His Word. And so what I want you guys to do, how many of you guys want good friends in your life? And you want to be a good person yourself? All right, if that's you, I want you to say this portion of scripture with some gusto. This is a psalm, which is like a journal entry or a song that was written by King David. David is a gangster. He's the one that killed lions and took care of sheep and slayed giants, and didn't just kill giants, but took giants' own swords to cut giants' head off and use head as a trophy. This is gangster David, okay? He's the king of Israel. He is the man. Like, anything he says goes, and we know him in the Bible. The Bible refers to David as a man after God's own heart. And so if you want good friends, you want to be a good friend, you want to live your best life, say this verse with some gusto in Psalm chapter 101, verses 1 through 8. Here we go. My theme song is God's love and justice, and I'm singing it right to you, God. I'm finding my way down the road of right living, but how long before you show up? I'm doing the very best I can to live a life of integrity, and I'm doing it at home where it counts. Pause. He says, like, it doesn't matter what goes on here. This is secondary. This is for the show, even though it shouldn't be, but you can fake your way through this. He's saying, I want to live a life of integrity at home when no one's watching, and it's just me and you, God. I want to be a person of integrity. Verse 2, here we go. I refuse to take a second look at vile people and vulgar things. I reject made in Canaan gods. Sorry, pause. He's saying, I won't have anything to do with knockoff, hand-me-down, little g gods, because that's what everyone else is doing in that culture. He's like, I don't worship false gods. I'm not having anything to do with it. Unpause. The crooked in heart keep their distance. I refuse to tolerate those who plan evil. I put a gag on gossip. Pause. That's just awesome. He's like, if you're drama, I'm going to shut your mouth. Like, I love that. That's a power phrase right there. If you're nothing but drama, gag on gossip. All right, unpause. And those who badmouth their neighbors. I can't stand their ignorant arrogance. It's hard to read up close. I graduated, I promise. All right, and then here's where it flips, all right? This is gangster David. He's like, I got nothing to do with crazy, nasty people. This is who I'm going to be about, and this is what I want you to be about. Unpause. But I have my eye on salt of the earth people. They're the ones I want working with me, men and women on the straight and narrow. These are the ones I want at my side. But no one who traffics in lies gets a job with me. I have zero patience with liars. Pause. See, King David was the king. And so when he's talking about anyone allowed in his presence, literally, he's like, I won't even allow my eyes to look at people that are full of lies. He hires everyone. These are the people it was a privilege to be in the presence of a king. And he says, I won't have anything to do with it. But that's just cool, David. This is gangster David, okay? Next verse. Here it is. I've rounded up all the wicked like cattle and herded them right out of the country. I purged God's city of all who make a business of evil. That's crazy. He literally said, all right, he's the king. This isn't like metaphorical, okay? This is like, I want you to get all the nasty liars in this place, and I want you to rope them up like cattle, and I want you to tell them to find a different country to live in. You got to go. All right? Good job. Give yourselves a round of applause as you're seated. In other words, David was a man who vetted his friends. He didn't just let the next available employee serve him his food, bring him the scrolls, help prepare his meals, things like that. He didn't just let anyone into his life. He evaluated the people he hired. He paid even more attention to the people he let up close. He evaluated all his friendships very carefully. He vetted his friends. All right, so what I want you to do is to take out your phones as if you're not already on your phones. Take out your phones, start a note. If you don't have a device, you can borrow an envelope and pen in one of the seat back pockets. Don't tell anyone else. And here's what I want you to do, okay? I want you to vet your friends. We're not just gonna talk about it, we're gonna do it. So there's gonna be 3 different things. They're gonna be different. I don't want you to overthink it. I want you to do what comes to your head because your immediate response is your truest response, okay? Are you guys ready? Yeah? Head nods if you're ready to write stuff down. All right, here's what I want you to write. I want you to write down the names or initials if they might be nearby. You can do initials as long as you know. Write down the initials or names of the 3 people you spend the most time with. 3 people you spend the most time with. Dang, some of you guys are already like, man, I failed enough tests in school. I just failed this one too. Just off the top of your head, the people, you're just like, just evaluate your timeline. Again, don't overthink it. Don't evaluate them yet. Just who gets the most of your time. All right. You guys good? You ready? Yes? No? Yes? Anyone need more time? All right. Number 2 is this. I want you to write down the 3 most people that you like or enjoy the most that are in your life. They either make you laugh, or you just like being with them, or they're cool, or they're good looking, or whatever it is that like they're the top of your list. These are your like 3 favorite people to be around. They might be in your first answer, they might not, but these are like your 3 favorite people that are actually in your life, okay? Like you can give them a high five, not digitally, but like actual, like you really know them, and they really know you, and they're really your friend, okay? Now, I want you to write down 3 names or initials of people that you don't spend a lot of time with, if at all, but they have to be actually in your life, not celebrities or people online or your favorite YouTuber, nothing like that, but people that are actually in your life, but that you don't hang out with a lot or at all, that you have a deep respect for, or that you really like from a distance, or you could call it jealousy, envy, or just a great respect for, in your sphere, like you're around your age, somewhere around your age. Dang. Some head scratchers for people you respect. That's why we're here tonight. We're going to help with this. Some of you guys are like, I don't respect anybody. Spoiler alert, that's a you problem, not a everyone in the world problem, okay? So if you got problems with the entire world, it's you. It's you. Okay. All right, you good? You got some evaluation done? All right. Now, we'll just take like 30 seconds, just kind of run through those lists, and if you had to put a positive or negative about those people, like, are those good influences or are those negative influences? Is this like a plus thing or a minus thing? There's no neutral. You guys know this. Scale of 1 to 10, no 5s. That's my thing. No 5s. Positive or negative? One or the other, positive or negative. Are they a positive influence or negative influence? If you have to sum it up, if you were rating them 1 through 10, 1 through 4 is negative, no 5s because that's neutral, 6 through 10 is positive. Are they positive or negative in your life? And here's the deal, I can't answer that for you. You might have different opinions on what is positive and what is negative. But that's you. It's just a valuation of where you guys are with your friendships, all right? Hopefully, the last 3 are positive, but maybe not. How many guys, in general, you scored more positive than negative? How many people brave enough to be for real and be like, more negative than positive? Okay, cool. If you raise your hand for the second one, thanks for being honest. Don't worry, a lot of them were lying too. It's okay. We got some negative people in our lives, all right? So it's important to vet your friends. It's important to evaluate who you're surrounding yourselves with, all right? That's number 1. Number 2 is this. You need to drop your friends. You got to drop your friends. I need everyone to do this. Drop your friends. I'm not seeing enough bunny ears. Drop your friends, okay? The friends. The friends. The quote-unquote friends. I didn't make this up. This is straight Bible. Proverbs 18:24, this is what it says. There are friends who destroy each other, but a real friend sticks closer than a brother. All right, it's important to evaluate who your real friends are and who your quote-unquote hypothetical friends are. Because the reality is we have less actual friends than we think. We are surrounded by quote-unquote friends. We are surrounded by people that will smile to our face and talk trash the second we leave. There's no shortage of that in this life. Can I get a witness? Anyone have those people? You got the people that you're like, you smile at me, but you don't like me. Why are we friends? Some of you guys, you in your first list have friends. You spend the majority of your time with people you secretly don't like and they don't like you. I don't understand why, but you do. a lot of us have quote unquote friends, and a lot of times it's to keep appearances, or they're on your team and you just want to fit in, or you're like, maybe you feel like you've been given these friends since birth, like you just kind of grew up with them. Have you ever had like the friends that like back before like puberty, and you weren't always thinking about image and things like that? You were just like little kids. You're like, they were my best friend. And then they just got super weird. Like middle school happened and they didn't survive. You think you did, but they didn't. It's like stuff just changed and you guys grew apart. But for some reasons, you guys just kind of stay around each other, stay close. Do any of you guys just have friends that you're just like, as I'm saying this out loud, you're like, I have friends I don't like that I spend a lot of time with? You don't have to raise your hand if you're sitting next to them, but some of you are. Someone's like secretly trying to make eye contact. Yeah, right there. I get it. I don't know what this is. I think sometimes, again, it's just this overwhelming sense to belong and to fit in and to feel like we've got a place in society that will allow us to sacrifice standards just for the sake of fitting in. In hindsight, like my friendship circle, a lot of them were embarrassing, and a lot of it was because one of them had a really nice house. They threw the best parties. They were older than everyone, so they got their license first. Or like they got lots of money, and when I'm broke, they always buy my dinner. Like some of us like use our friends. We're like, I got bad friends. If all of those apply to you, you're also not a super good friend. I'm not gonna say you're a bad friend, but if you're a mooch and you only like them for their money and what they can offer you, and you're bringing nothing to the table, they're probably thinking the same thing about you. It's a two-way street. But we need to drop those friends. Let me explain where I get this from. I'm going to read 17 verses of Scripture. Yeah, see? It's growing. There's some of you guys are getting excited about the Bible. All right. I'm going to read a story from the book of Jonah. How many of you guys grew up in church? You guys already know the story of Jonah. Ooh, I love this. How many of you guys don't know the story of Jonah? All right, let's go. All right, this is Old Testament. This is a Bible story that a lot of us were taught as little kids. They only tell the weird parts, but they don't really get into the nitty-gritty of kind of what happened. A lot of times we make Bible stories more majestic than they are, and this one gets crazy. It sure does, but I'm going to read like the beginning chapter. This is the origin story. This is about a prophet named Jonah. Prophets were the representatives of God in those days. So if we were in Old Testament times, sorry, you guys couldn't hear from God. In fact, you couldn't even be in God's right sight. You couldn't be forgiven by God without someone like me, without a priest and a prophet, because we would intercede on behalf of you. There was this whole sacrifice system where you had to make payments in the form of animal slaughter to pay for the bad things that you had done. Anytime there's sin, there's consequence, and there had to be payment. And so the priests would make them clean, and then the prophet's job was to hear from God and deliver the message on their behalf. And so Jonah was a prophet, and this is where we pick up the story, all right? The word of the Lord came to Jonah, son of Amittai. This is what he says. Go to the city of Nineveh. Everyone say Nineveh. And preach against it, because its wickedness has come up before me. So this is not a good message. This is like, all right, God's saying, all right, Jonah, I need you to go deliver this message. It's not a good message. These are wicked people, but I need you to go deliver this. Verse 3, but. Everyone say but. Everyone say big old but. You guys will say anything. It's so funny. But Jonah ran away from the Lord and headed to Tarshish. Everyone say Tarshish. See, you can't either. I couldn't. It's all right. He went down to Joppa, where he found a ship bound for that port. After paying the fare, he went aboard and sailed to Tarshish to flee from the Lord. Then, so you guys tracking so far? God said, I've got a bad word that I need you to deliver to Nineveh. I want you to go to Nineveh. Jonah says, cool, I'm going to Tarshish. He's supposed to go this way. He's like, I'm going to go this way. All right? He was literally running away from God. Then, after all this, the Lord sent a great wind on the sea. Such a violent storm arose that the ship threatened to break up. All the sailors on board were afraid, and each cried out to their own God. Everyone say their own God. Because that's important because back in that day, everyone worshiped these different gods. Some had idols like physical statues. Some believed there was like a god of everything, a god of the boat, a god of the sea, a god of the air, blah, blah, blah. We worship the one true God. They all cried out to their own God when things got crazy, and they threw the cargo into the sea to lighten the ship. But Jonah, everyone say but. Everyone say big old but. But Jonah had gone down below to the lower deck where he laid down and fell into a deep sleep. Everyone say deep sleep. Bible specific. He didn't just fall asleep. He fell into a deep sleep. So this is what's going on. God tells Jonas to go this way. Jonah says, cool, I'm going this way. God says, okay, you're going to go that way. I'm going to send the storm that way. Gets so crazy. Everything's going crazy. It's all Jonah's fault. And what is he doing when everything's going crazy? He's down taking a nap. And you guys have the friends that cause all the trouble and get none of the trouble? Like, they cause all the pain and suffering and get none of the consequences, right? And you're just like, you're a jacked up friend. That's messed up. Like, they're better at being bad than you are. They cheat, and then they pass you the note, but you get caught with the note. You guys do pass notes? They allow you to cheat on the test. They allow you to cheat, but you get caught looking at their paper, but somehow they still don't get in trouble. All right. That was like a flashback. My bad. I didn't ever really pass notes either. All right. Where was I? Book of Jonah. Here's what happened. The captain went to him and said, how can you be asleep? Get up and call on your God. He doesn't care which God, by the way. He's just like, hey, if you didn't know, if you aren't religious, you need to be now because we need to pray to whatever God's going on. This is what the captain of the ship says. Call on your God. Maybe he will take notice of us so that we will not perish and die. Then the sailors said to each other, come, let's find out who is responsible for this calamity. So they asked Jonah, tell us who is responsible for making all this trouble. What kind of work do you do? Where do you come from? What is your country? Where are your people from? See, these are all questions you should have answered before the strange dude came rolling on your ship. This is what I'm talking about. You need to vet your friends. Some of you got people all up in your personal life and ask no questions. Like, you do more research before you go to the movie, right? Like, you're like, I need to know who this actor is, what they've been in, are they good? Is this movie funny? I got to watch the trailer and the documentary. But you'll just let anyone in your life and have all kinds of influence over you. You need to vet your friends. These are all should have been prerequisites, not, oh, dear Lord, the ship's going down kind of questions, all right? But that's where they are. What country are you from? Where are you at? Where are you from? He answered, I am a Hebrew, and I worship the Lord, the God of heaven, who made the sea and the dry land, and I am responsible. He's like, yeah, my bad. That's my fault. That's my fault. This terrified them, and they asked, what have you done? Which is hypothetical, because then in parentheses, they knew he was running away from the Lord because he had already told them. Pause. If you got people in your life, and they're telling you all the jacked up stuff they do, this is time to drop that friend. Like, this is not like, oh, cool, that's whatever. Like, you do you, I'll be me. Like, your truth isn't my truth. Like, whatever. Like, no, like, if someone comes on into your life and says, I am actively running away from God and doing evil, cool, man, you want to do lunch? No. Cool, you go do that somewhere else. Like, we can't be friends, all right? The sea was getting rougher and rougher, so they asked Jonah, what should we do to make the sea calm down? Because at this point, they'd all tried to praying to their God. Obviously, he's like, I serve real God. This is my bad. Okay, Jonah, with the real God, with the real trouble, whose fault it is, what should we do? Verse 12, this is his answer. Pick me up and throw me into the sea. Wouldn't it be nice if you had jacked up friends and they just take ownership for their jacked upness, right? Like, the whole cruise, like, you got drama in your friendship circle, and they're like, man, like, why is our life so full of drama? And the drama one's like, that's my fault. Yeah, I was lying about you. I told them this, even though it's not true. I know you told me you like that person, said don't tell anyone, but I told that person, so my bad. Like, it's my fault. Well, what should we do? Oh, you should get rid of me. Yeah. You should not have me in your life. Like, wouldn't life be that nice if all the problems just self-identified? Yeah, like, I'm here to destroy you, just so you know. Like, you should probably not have me in your life. This is what's going on. Pick me up, throw me in the sea, he replied, and then it will be calm. I know that it's my fault that this great storm has come upon you. Like, are we all picking up what's going on so far? Are we all caught up with this story? God told Jonah, go here. Jonah goes here. Storm goes there. They all pray. Nothing happens. They ask him, can you pray? Yeah, I can pray. I'm the one true God. All right, cool. None of this is working. Whose fault? Jonah's fault. What should I do? Jonah says, throw me off the boat. We all caught up? Chapter 2 of this story. Instead, everyone say instead, the men did their best to row back to land. You're like, that's just stupid. Let's pull ourselves into this story, okay? You've got bad friends. Everyone tells you that's a bad friend. Or let's get a little bit even close to home. You date that person that everyone in your life says, don't date that person. They're bad news, right? And you're like, I know, but I can lead them to Jesus, right? I'm going to row this boat. I'm going to keep on going. I'm stronger than everyone else who fell prey to their shenanigans before. I'm just going to keep on rowing in my own effort. I know they're terrible for me and my life's going downhill and my entire ship is sinking, but it's okay because I'm going to row harder. Because everyone knows when you row a sinking boat harder, it no longer sinks, right? That's what happens. Any AP physics students in the house? When you row a sinking boat, does it sink? Yes. This is what happens with sinking boats. They continue to sink. But this is not what they did. They continued to try to do things in their own strength, but they could not because the boat was sinking. Then they cried out to the Lord, please, Lord, do not let us die for taking this man's life. This is just awesome, okay? They go from praying to any God to getting saved in a sinking ship. Dear God, I know you're real. First prayer ever, forgive me for the murder I'm about to commit. Forgive me for taking this innocent man's life, for you, O Lord, have done it as you pleased. Then they took Jonah, threw him overboard, and the raging sea grew calm. At this, the men greatly feared the Lord and offered a sacrifice to the Lord and made vows to the one true king. Like, this is awesome, right? Then this is where it gets to the part that we all know. And then a big old fish came up and swallowed Jonah, and he was in the belly of the whale for 3 days, which is an awesome story for a different day, but the moral of the story is this. When you got jacked up, messed up people that are on your boat, on your ship, you need to get rid of that friendship and throw them overboard, okay? You need to get all the good friends in your life and being like, this guy's trouble. You need to get someone who's also strong. You need to say, grab the legs. 1, 2, 3. Bye, Jonah. Nice knowing you. And that's it. And you're like, that's not Christian. That's not nice. You got choices. You can offend someone who's evil, actively doing evil, and go to heaven, or you can get in evil person's boat and sink with them. So you have to decide how much your faith is going to cost you. If you want to serve Jesus, you can't let anything come in the way of that. I'm going to balance that out later, but if you've got jacked up, messed up people that are actively trying to be jacked up and messed up in your life, they're the ones trying to get you to do evil. They're the ones trying to get you to do things you vowed to God you'd never do. They're trying to get you to watch things you never watch, to smoke things you never smoke, to drink things you would never drink, to date people you would never date. Like, they are actively trying to ruin your life, and they think it's funny. At any measure, you need to throw that sucker off of your boat. I'm telling you. This is, remember, top 25 reasons on why people fall away? This is like the top 5 reasons of why I am still serving God. I'm not saying it's easy. When I got saved, I had a long-term girlfriend at that time, and lo and behold, when I got saved, she still wasn't. And it got to the point where I could choose because, like an idiot, I was still trying to row my boat. Like, I'm saved. I can lead her to Jesus. It'll be fine. She was not having that, and it came to the point where I'm praying. Pause. If you love Jesus, you should pray. Unpause. Okay. I'm praying to God, and I've drawn all the conclusions that I can make. I've tried everything else that I could try. I've rowed my boat as long as it could go. Lo and behold, a sinking boat is still sinking. And it was God or her. There was no longer the option for God and her. It was God or her. And I think there's going to be a lot of God or fill-in-the-blank choices that you're going to have in your life, and you're going to have to decide which one you're going to do. If you're going to try to continue to row your own boat, or if you're going to serve God no matter the cost. Even at the sake of offending a person, even at the sake of losing a friendship or dating relationship, if it comes down to an either or, you're going to have to decide which one you're going to choose. And I pray that you choose to follow God and serve him no matter what. But you're going to have to decide that for yourself. Later on, there was friends that were Christians, people that I went to Bible school with, And one of the bigger hot topics of my college days was whether or not you can drink as a Christian. You can drink alcohol as a Christian. And here's the deal, bottom line, the Bible's super clear about being drunk, which would apply to drugs or alcohol or anything else. God wants us in our right mind because there's enough evil in the world. We don't need to be altering our mental state and fighting stupid when there's a real war going on for our soul. He's very clear about that. The Bible is not super clear about whether or not a drink will send you to hell. In fact, there's examples in the Bible that would prove otherwise. There's a whole lot of context to that. Anyone who says, like, Jesus turned the water into wine, yes, true, but it was basically grape juice. You had to basically drink a whole keg of that junk before you would get drunk. It's not apples to apples on the alcohol we consume. We live in America where we binge everything, including alcohol. Side sermon over, back to the main message. But all my friends would start, they would have a beer to celebrate. Like if someone was getting married or someone got a new job or was moving, it'd be like a toast. Here's the one drink to the friend, and I would get sucked into that. And then it turned into Tuesday lunch. Then it turned into I've got my refrigerator constantly stocked of alcohol. And it became, for me personally, it became a God or that friend scenario. They still claimed to love God. They still said there was nothing wrong with it. They still had their own philosophy built up. They were still a good person. And it was still a lot of areas of our friendship where we could still be friends. But for me, it became as for me and my house, I'm going to serve the Lord. And it became an either or. And I had to have difficult conversations with those friends and said, I love you. I respect you. We've had a ton of great memories. We both serve the same God. But I can't personally be around that much alcohol because I can't drink just one beer. And back when you said you used to be able to drink one beer, now you're drinking beer every day. And the pattern I see is that you're going to end up an alcoholic. I can't afford to do that because I want to serve God for the rest of my life. And if you can't get on this side with me, then we just can't be as close anymore. And that person no longer serves God, drinking lots of beer, still thinks it's okay. Life is a wreck. And those moments have happened over time and time again, where I had to choose, is it going to be this friendship or is it going to be God? And there's a lot of times where you can scale that back. I'm talking in absolutes because I think a lot of us have to make absolute either or decisions. Some of you just need to scale back. Some of us, you need to sit in a different spot on Wednesday nights because of who you sit near every Wednesday night. Some of you tonight need to have that conversation was hey man, I can't sit with you because you're not trying to listen. I'm trying to grow. And if you're going to continue to prevent me from growing, then we can't hang out on Wednesday nights. We can still be friends outside of here, but we can't hang out because this is where I'm at. I hope you come with me, but I'm going to be over here serving God wholeheartedly. If you want to follow me, that's cool, but let's not make any mistakes about this. I'm not going to let you jeopardize my walk with God any longer. Some of you guys need to have that conversation tonight, all right? Some of you need to drop your friends. You need to vet your friends, drop your quote-unquote friends. Number 3, if you're taking notes, is this. You need to recruit your friends. You need to recruit your friends. I was trying to think of a better word, maybe invest in your friends, upgrade your friends, but I like recruit because I like the idea of this. A lot of our leaders in this house, don't tell the leaders in this house, but I don't deserve some of the leaders that we have in this place, okay? They're awesome. Some of them were recruited heavily by me and Amanda, which means this. We brought them to our house. We made them pour over coffees. We gave them meals. We complimented them. We joked with them. We told them how awesome I think they are. We told them what a difference they can make in this world. All true things, by the way. But I upgraded my friendship circle, okay? I recruited people because I didn't want just any suckers taking care of you guys. I wanted the best of the best. And I've been fortunate enough in my life to surround myself with people that I don't deserve to be around. It is my life goal to be the lowest guy on my friendship totem pole. That's my goal, okay? Whatever your goal is in life, it should be the same way. Same thing is true in real estate. Someday when you go buy a house, they always say this, buy the junkiest house in the nicest neighborhood. Don't end up with the nicest house in the junkiest neighborhood because your neighborhood will bring down your home value. But if you're the one that sneaks into that super nice neighborhood, you benefit because of the value of everyone else around you. Same thing is true in business. If you read any leadership book about people that want to be millionaires, they're saying, there's no way I was going to be a millionaire because I didn't surround myself with anyone who was a millionaire. So all the conversations I had about finances, they couldn't comprehend or explain where I was trying to go, so I started surrounding myself with millionaires. They taught me how to be a millionaire. I became a millionaire. Then you talk to millionaires, and you're like, one of the most common questions is, how do I continue to grow my investments? Well, who's in your friendship circle? Well, it's all millionaires, which sounds awesome. But the point is, you will never get to where you want to be unless you surround yourself with people who are already there. You need friends that are going to take you to where you want to go. You don't need friends that are going to constantly drag you down. You need to be the weakest friend in your friendship group, and you just need to be honest with it. Hey, man, I see this in you. Could you show me how to do that? Maybe they're an actual Christian and they actually know how to pray and read their Bible. Hey, man, I know this might be weird, but I just want to say, I respect your relationship with God. It'd be really cool if you could show me how you do that. Or hey, I'm trying to change some of the music choices in my life. I see you're always posting songs about Christian stuff that you're listening to. Can you share some of those playlists with me? Upgrade your friendship, recruit better friends in your life. And you might be like, that seems very manipulative. No, some things in life just take effort. Bible says so. Here's what it says. Proverbs 11:30. The seeds of good deeds become a tree of life. So in other words, the good stuff you do that seems insignificant, that just seems like a tiny little investment, over time will become an awesome tree that will give you life. Second half of that verse says, and a wise person inherits friends, is given friends, casually gets friends. No, it says they win friends. Wise people win friends. So I don't know if you've ever competed in any kind of sport, and maybe you grew up in the participation award generation. I'm not talking about participation award trophies. You don't want participation award type of friends. You want blue ribbon first place friends. You got to go win those friends. You got to go befriend them. You got to be nice to them. You got to upgrade your friendship circle. Proverbs 13:20 says this, become wise by walking with the wise. Hang out with fools and watch your life fall to pieces. It's not complicated. You become who you surround yourself with. Those friendships, those names you wrote down earlier, that's your future. We say this all the time. Show me your friends, I'll show you your future. You can try to fight that all you want, but it's reality. And most people think that as a threat. It's not a threat, it's a promise, and it's a potential investment. Show me your friends, and I'll show you your future. So in other words, if I look at your friends and they're all better than you, that makes me think better of you. Because I'm like, you're going to become like them. You want to be the best athlete, you got to get the best coaches. You got to surround yourself on the best teams. You want the best friends, you got to surround yourself with people that are going to take you higher. So you need to vet your friends. You need to drop your quote-unquote friends. You need to recruit your friends. Last one is this, number 4, you need to cherish your friends. You need to cherish your friends. Some of you need to no longer take them for granted. You need to no longer be the low guy on the totem pole. You no longer need to be the abusive one. You need to cherish your friendships. You need to cherish your friendships. Let me read this verse in Proverbs 27. This is what it says. An open rebuke is better than hidden love. In other words, it's better to get corrected than to have someone hide and secretly have love for you. It's better to take a shot. Wounds from a sincere friend are better than many kisses from an enemy, which sounds kind of counterintuitive, but what they're saying is it's better to have a friend punch you than the enemy kiss you, because one might feel better, but one's better for you. In other words, you need some good friends that are going to love you enough to call you on your junk, to be like, hey, man, you're better than that. Hey, I know we've talked about that. We're still doing that. Hey, man, I care about you enough. Please don't date that person. That person will destroy you. In other words, we live in a very apologetic life. We live in a very tolerance-driven life. It's we feel like we don't have permission to correct anyone for doing anything. If they're dead wrong on something, have the guts to be a sincere friend and say, hey, you're wrong about that. I don't know who's poisoned your mind, but that's just not true. Just because it rhymes or it's catchy or someone with a lot of followers on YouTube said it, it doesn't mean it's true. You're going down a path that's dangerous for you. You need to have enough guts to be honest with them, and you need to accept it when someone corrects you on that stuff. Is it easy? Heck no. Do you want to be better? Then it's worth it. You got to let people, the wounds of a friend can be trusted. The heartfelt counsel of a friend is as sweet as honey. So in other words, if you have people that are worth speaking into your life, and here's the reality, you're going to have to ask for it. You're going to have to be the one to take initiative and go to your sincere friends and be like, hey, is there anything in my life that I need to be aware of? Is there anything I need to start doing? Is there anything I need to stop doing? Are there any friends that are toxic in my life? You need to give them permission to speak into your life. You need to seek after it, and you need to cherish good friends. And here's the deal. A lot of us, you might go through this and be like, this is tough. We knew it based on the groan of the title of the message. We've got toxic relationships in our life. And I want to give you the permission and the boldness to drop some of those negative friends. And you're like, well, what about this whole Souls for Souls thing? Like, what about reaching people? What about, like, reaching the world? I'm good with all that. But if you read the Bible, they never went alone. Jesus sent them in 2 by 2 so that they wouldn't fall one another, so they could be with someone who is also strong. They would go in there, but they would go in there for a mission. They were going in there for the purpose of reaching those friends. They weren't just surrounding themselves to fit in. They were trying to affect culture. We're called to be salt to the world. We're supposed to be light to the world. We're not supposed to be light in a world. We're not supposed to be dim lights in a dark world. We're supposed to be a bright light to a dark world for the purpose of bringing them into the light. That is our mission. And so if you're not on mission with those friends, then you are their mission. Because if you ever has anyone else been peer pressured to do anything negative in their life? Like, all of a sudden they were just neutral friends, and all of a sudden they're like, hey man, let's go to that party. I don't know, I've heard of what goes on at the house. And all of a sudden they're evangelizing you, like you're their mission. They've got goals. Their goal is to wreck your life. They wouldn't put it that way. It looks really nice. It looks like, hey, you need to loosen up. You need to party. You need to chill out. You need to get your mind off things. You need to learn to relax. You need to learn to party. You need to learn to be crazy, like whatever that is. But they're trying to destroy you, and they're on mission. So if you're not on mission, reaching them for the gospel, then you are the mission. And so you need to learn to drop some friends. Some of us, we need to learn to cherish our friends. Some of you just need to be like, I've never said this, but you're a good friend. Especially for guys, that might be harder than it is for most. But we need to have honest conversations. If you are fortunate enough to have a close friend that loves Jesus, you need to cherish that friendship. In other words, you need to invest into it. You need to prioritize it. You need to make sure it doesn't fall away. You need to be the one texting them, calling them, hanging out with them. And you're like, man, like if I evaluate all my friends and I drop all my bad friends, I'm going to have no friends. Don't tell anyone else this, but look around. Like, it's not complicated. That's why we give you guys small groups. That's why we give you guys small group leaders. That's why we put you guys in these small group families, so that you can have people, that you can have a shot at genuine relationships. So when your small group leaders are like, hey man, how's life really going? And you're like, fine. That was your missed opportunity to cherish a true friendship. Because they actually want to know what's going on in your life. They actually care. They want to know what's going on beneath the surface. They want to help you. They want to invest into you. If you got questions, just this week I was hanging out with an awesome student that had a ton of amazing questions. I love that. Reach out to people. If you have questions out of the Bible, or how to grow in your faith, or how to be a true Christian, ask a friend who seems like they know what they're doing. If they can't get the answers, both of you go to your small group leader. If they can't help you, let me know, because, no, I'm just kidding. They're not going to know all the answers either. But they know how to find it. They can research that with you. We can figure this out together. We are much stronger when we do life together.